Let me see. My swoop is not going to help. Oh, here's a pixel notch. Remember the Pixel 3 XL notch?
My hair is even worse with this, but here's a Pixel 3 notch.
Oh gosh.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. And as always, I'm Teddy Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is DeWolf.
And TabCat406 may or may not be joining us later on this evening. Because
he has not responded.
Yeah, he has not responded to us yet, so if maybe we'll have to re-record this introduction if he shows up in just a few minutes later, or else we will have to just keep going. But hopefully we'll just be able to keep going. So without further ado, let's get into our first topic, which is that Mark Zuckerberg stated in an interview that he wanted to eliminate Facebook Friends in 2022 for Facebook to only show algorithmic content.
Did you watch Alec Watson's video on algorithmic complacency by chance?
To be fair, 2022 is before that video came out. I hate actually defending the Zuck in this case, but still, like, I like creating my own social media feeds.
Is there a chance he watched that?
I don't know.
I love going back to that video. It's honestly one of his best.
It really is. He doesn't cover modern technology very much, and he doesn't cover mainstream technology very much, but when he does, he always does it really well. And he owns a Mac Mini now.
Really?
He owns an M2 Mac Mini, or an early 2020. I still don't understand why people refer to Macs as Apple Silicon now, but he owns an early 2023 Mac Mini, but yes, he owns that now.
That's interesting, knowing him, how he's all anti vertical integration when it comes to the type of stuff he prefers to own.
I mean, to be fair, he has owned it. He has an iPod 5th generation, and I assume he got one that was new, and he has two iMac G3s actually.
That is, I've always known him as his number one thing he cares about in all of his technology is everything needs to be open source and such. Like, that's why he uses Android. And because he uses Android, I'm pretty sure that's another reason why he uses Windows. Linux is a bit on the extreme end for him, but either way, it just... And then also, he does not, like... I mean... He'll have neutral opinions on Tesla, but you can definitely tell he very heavily prefers against. He doesn't want anything to do with Tesla, primarily because Tesla for the longest time has had similar mentalities to Apple, where everything is vertically integrated and there's not that much intercompatibility between Tesla and third-party vehicles or charging networks and such like that. He only finally started getting on board when Tesla properly announced properly announced NACS and all of that stuff. It's just the thing I noticed is that he cares mostly about things being open source. So that, and not restricted. Which, hey, it has its benefits. I'm not arguing against that.
And that's a much better reason for hating Tesla than what most people do. But in other news, Tabby responded and he said he's currently busy, but he'll let us know if he's able to later on. Go on the show later on.
Got it. He's probably busy driving his new car right now.
Yeah, we'll get into that the next time he comes.
Yeah. So, oh, the iPad finally woke up. So, oh, hey, we have all 16 topics now. Lovely.
All right. Well, shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic now, or do we have anything more to say about Mark Zuckerberg wanting to eliminate Facebook friends, or shall we move on to some good news regarding Meta?
Meta and good news. Does this mean they got busted for something?
So, Meta is finally being investigated by the FTC for antitrust due to its mergers with Instagram and WhatsApp.
You know, I'm surprised that they didn't get as many antitrust cases as Apple and Google because, I mean, think about it. Think about the social media market these days.
Monopoly.
It's like, what are the actual competitors to Facebook?
Our Meta, I would say Twitter.
Yeah, so yeah, there's Twitter,
Snapchat.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yep, that's true.
YouTube.
I'm not sure if they completely classify as that because they're
No.
YouTube's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube's not pure social media, but I mean they have some bits of well, other than that, it's like Instagram, Threads, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger.
I can't believe that Threads is still alive.
Neither can I. From what I hear, it's still most. I feel that a lot of the platforms that are
Alternatives.
not Twitter, yeah, a lot of these alternative platforms to Twitter, it feels a lot just like, oh, it's Twitter again, but oh, this is where all the liberals go because...
Yeah. It's like Twitter
Try not to get too political here, but come on, guys. It's kind of obvious. Twitter these days is very conservative.
I still see a lot of left wing. I still see a lot of liberals on Twitter.
Most of the liberals I see on Twitter are liberals getting mocked by conservatives.
I see like actual liberals posting their opinions on Twitter.
Yeah, the only time I see that is when they're getting mocked by conservatives.
Yeah, I see that too, but
yeah, yeah, basically it doesn't matter what social media platform you go on these days. It's not really enjoyable. It's either you're on Twitter, which is now extremely conservative, thanks to Elon Musk and everything in regards to that. And if you're not on Twitter, then you're basically a liberal on some other platform spreading... Well, we're not going to go there.
Alright.
Yeah, social media is a bit of a mess, but a big problem with it that I also have is just Meta owns so much of it.
Yeah, they own way too much. And like, this is such an obvious monopoly too. The only one that I can think of that's more obvious than Meta is what else? Or is T-Mobile.
T-Mobile is another good example too, because they've bought out how many other smaller carriers?
I think they've bought out 4 now.
I can only think of the one, Mint Mobile, but I know they've purchased more than that.
They bought Sprint, Metro,
Mint
Mobile, and now US Cellular.
AT&T might be up there as well because they've got a few other smaller carriers like H2O Wireless. I believe they also own Cricket as well.
AT&T is not quite as... AT&T is definitely not quite as dominant. And also, they already got... And AT&T technically... I believe... Now, AT&T technically got busted for antitrust in the late 1960s, and so they all just... Or Bell, they got split up in the late 1960s and into several branches depending on what region of the country you are in. And Bell Southwest is what eventually became AT&T. And then in 2006, I believe they all merged back.
Well, there goes the point of that split.
Or I think it's because because there were other cell phone carriers at that point, and because landline phones were becoming. I mean, landline phones were still dominant back in 2006, but they were definitely. But I mean, you could sort of see that they were on the way out.
Well, they'll never be on the way out in terms of like businesses. Businesses will always have a landline.
Yeah, landlines are better for businesses, but
yeah, they need a hard phone number that never changes. So yeah, businesses, they will always rely on landlines. But I think for general consumer use, like us, no, we're probably the only reason you'd find a landline in a consumer home these days is if cell service is just you just can't get it.
Or if you're in this quiet zone where you legally can't get it, or else if and sometimes a lot of times old people still have landline phones.
Yeah. So yeah, they're still going to exist, just in small numbers. But the biggest areas where they'll still exist is in the business sector. Yeah. It's just, it makes too much sense to have a landline, especially when you've got multiple people needing to share the same phone number.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'd much rather have a landline. Yeah, when I grow up and own my own business, I'd much rather have a landline number for that business and have to have another SIM in my phone just for that.
Yeah. Though, I mean, just come to think of it, especially when we're talking cellular carriers at this point, while I do find it frustrating that basically you're purchasing from one of the big three carriers, it's either AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile.
Or Xfinity.
Not really. They're probably relying somewhat off of those same networks again.
That's true.
So, but yeah, that's the thing. You only got basically three choices. And while, yeah, the main parent companies are going to be on the most expensive end, like AT&T, Verizon, yeah, they're pretty expensive plans, not going to lie. But at the same time, all of their competition is basically owned by them, and so they're still ultimately making money from you no matter what. So, yeah, we kind of have a triopoly in terms of cellular carriers, but at the same time, I'm not sure how else we could actually add more, because if you think about it, that requires putting up more towers. Then you also have to worry more about coverage again, because, well, sadly, carrier roaming is, while it exists, it does not exist very well. Let's just say.
What's carrier roaming?
It's basically where the carriers, all like, say, let's take Verizon and AT&T, for example. If AT&T doesn't have towers in a particular area, but Verizon does, Verizon will let AT&T use those towers versus them having to put up their own custom ones or whatever. So that way, AT&T users can still have cellular coverage in an area where AT&T does not have their towers.
Don't most care. Typically, I know most cell towers will typically cover multiple carriers.
That's not always the case. Like, T-Mobile is very hit or miss up here. Mm-hmm. Some towers will carry it, some will not. And that's because officially T-Mobile is not supported up here. You have to have either Verizon or AT&T. There's some towers that T-Mobile will roam off of, but again, it's hit or miss. There's a few points where T-Mobile will have absolutely nothing up here. So, yeah, it's the cellular industry is a hot mess. And there is clearly no innovation going on within that. Don't let the 5G BS fool you. It's not innovation. It's just an excuse.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's almost. But in this sense, tying it back to the main topic here, since we got so off track, this frustration also carries over to social media, because seriously, when you think of it, it's either it's a meta service, it's Twitter, or it's some other entity that genuinely doesn't matter.
Yeah, Meta. I mean, the problem with Meta, I would say, is that, I mean, you can basically, like, come on, like, Facebook and Threads are basically the same platform.
Yeah, I don't understand the redundancy for it. It's just why?
It's the reason why Ford discontinued the Mercury brand in the United States, because Ford and Mercury are basically making the same cars, just with varied styling.
It's kind of weird because Chevy and GMC, the vehicles are almost completely identical, especially their trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, they have slight styling cues, but other than that, mechanically, they are identical. No differences at all.
Why don't they just discontinue the GMC brand and just stick with, like, aren't Chevy's, GMCs, and Buicks all really close to each other?
Well, Buick's in a bit of a new age right now where they're really focused on the Chinese market. So they're optimizing Buicks for the Chinese market. And then GMCs can pull more money. Because they dress up the interiors of GMCs just a little bit nicer. Then you have GMC's infamous Denali brand. Which most GMCs, it's close to like 50% of GMCs sold at least are the Denali model. Most people buy the Denali models. And it is true, the Denali models are nicer than Chevy's top end.
Yeah. Alright, shall I move on to our next topic now before we get too off track with GM cars?
Yeah, I really have no idea what else to talk about other than Meta's just, yeah, they own too many things, and they still suck.
Alright. So speaking of antitrust, Google lost half of their ad tech antitrust case, but will appeal.
Ad tech. What do you mean by that? Like ad
Or basically their
software,
advertisement antitrust case.
Do elaborate then.
So basically, one of the main reasons why Google's getting sued for antitrust is because they own basically all the online advertising. And so they're getting sued. And so they lost half their antitrust case for that, but they're going to appeal the other half.
I mean, I guess when you think about it though, yeah, Google's got massive market share in the ads. In fact, even when you visit random websites and you clear out those ads, they'll often be ad by Google or something, or it's got a Google UI when you close them out.
Yeah, it's obvious that Google's a monopoly in this case, it's obvious that Google is being a monopoly in this case, and I think this, and once again, I don't like it when people or companies will keep trying to appeal lawsuits, since at the end of the day it's just pointless, and all it does is just waste time and money.
Well, the lawyers don't mind. The lawyers are probably happy about this because they get to make more money.
Yeah, I'm sure the lawyers are happy, but
I mean, come to think of it though, I'm not sure. Like if I were looking to post an advertisement, if I wanted to get some advertisements, advertise my brand or whatever, wouldn't you want to use the largest firm with the largest reach?
I mean, okay, this is my logic for this. Yes, you're right. You would want to use the largest firm, so it makes perfect sense on the consumer's end, on the advertiser's end. However, I imagine the main reason why the government is suing Google for this is because once again, it's the same concern with monopolies, which is that because Google owns most of the online advertising market, they can charge whatever they want, and so they want there to be more competition on that end, but at the same time, I do understand your point.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the antitrust case and Well, yeah, I think it is a bit obvious. Obvious Google does have a monopoly on the space because genuinely, I can't think of any website with advertisements that is not processed by Google.
I mean, technically Twitter and Meta in that case, like social.
Okay, but they're like their own respective
Yeah.
sites. But even like just when you're doing research, looking up articles and
Oh,
such
yeah.
like that, it's all of their ads are powered by Google.
Yeah.
So
I imagine Google might be appealing because I mean, it actually does make sense on the advertisers end why you would want to use the largest platform. So
yeah, because I mean, that's really the one thing that kind of confuses me. But it's like I understand how Google got to this point. It's kind of like the same reason how Apple's kind of got to their point where iPhone just has such a massive market share here. It's because Apple made a product that everybody wants, and in Google's case, their product, their advertising business, it has the largest reach, and that is a product every advertiser wants.
I mean,
every
if advertisers are willing to pay,
wants the reach.
and if advertisers are willing to pay the higher prices, I mean, it makes sense because the problem is that, sure, let's say you did get more competition in the advertising space. The problem is that
Would you, the business, want to use it?
It would vary, honestly, because if you had so many different advertisement firms competing, then you wouldn't be able to get your content out on many platforms. It's kind of like I'll bring up streaming streaming Hollywood content as an example, like how because there were so many streaming services, well, there still are a ton of streaming services because there's so many. As a result, Hollywood content had a hard time getting out there for people to watch because there were too many different platforms. So as a consequence, Hollywood is really starting to die now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, we have way too many streaming platforms these days.
Yes.
But I mean, just think about it. Like the number one reason why I'm willing to bet Google has this power compared to Twitter offers advertising, so does Meta, but the reason why it's always Google is they've got the largest reach.
Yeah.
And as a business, that's what I want.
Exactly. So I understand. I used to think it was valid that they were appealing, but after you explained it, I can confidently say that I understand why they want to appeal.
That it's at least the most valid reason I can think of. But so at the same time, that makes me wonder: is the antitrust case the right one in this case? Because I get the concern that yes, Google now has all this control; they can set the prices to whatever the heck they want, and there's no competition in that regards. But at the same time, if you
don't necessarily want competition.
I wouldn't say that. It's just at the same time, if you do have to split it up or whatever, then it causes a lot of. I think what would end up happening business wise is instead of relying on Google, they only have to turn to one person to basically get their advertising out there. Now they have to have accounts with multiple parties, and then I think they might potentially spend more on advertising, kind of like what's happened with streaming these days.
Yeah.
We used to only have a few streaming platforms that basically had everything. But now we have, oh goodness gracious, let me try to list as many as I can. We still have Netflix. That's Netflix and YouTube. Those were the big ones. We have Disney Plus. That's a notable one.
Which Hulu now integrates into.
Oh, so Hulu is no longer their own special service?
I mean, I think you can still pay for Hulu independently, but Hulu is now integrated into Disney Plus. Too.
All right. Well, yeah. So you still got that. We got Peacock. It was HBO Max. Now it's just
Max.
Yeah, stupid branding. I'm sorry. Discovery Plus.
Or Discovery Plus doesn't exist now. It's part of Max.
Oh, this makes no sense. There's the list goes on and on. Those are the top that I can think of, at least. But there were so many services, and I guess for licensing and all that, and due to, well, you got like Disney, for example. Disney Plus is going to host all Disney content. And so if there's some Disney exclusive movie, oh, guess where that movie is going to be featured first?
Netflix actually used to show a pretty good amount of Disney movies before Disney Plus came out. Like, I watched Coco on Netflix back in 2018.
I have once too. But yeah, that's... Yeah, now we got a battle for exclusives. Disney's obviously going to host all of their exclusives. Paramount Plus, they host all of their stuff. Netflix has their own originals. Whether they're good or not is debatable, but Netflix has their own originals. It's just... all of these platforms now have their own exclusives. Oh, how did I forget Apple TV Plus? One of the few subscriptions I have.
Yes, that streaming service.
Yeah, so all of these platforms have their own exclusives. And if you want to watch, there's no one platform where you can find everything these days. It's the only way you can get that used to be, you buy the DVD. That was pretty much it. But nowadays, now you got to subscribe to all of these different services for their exclusives. And some exclusives will be great content that, you'll want to watch. It's just now you need a new account. And holy crap, how much money are you spending on subscriptions these days? And just TV streaming.
Like, it's not worth... like, it's become so uneconomical to spend money on TV subscriptions that, to be honest, I'm not going to get TV streams. I'm not going to get TV streaming subscriptions when I grow up.
Well, maybe YouTube Premium. That's the one that I found most worth it.
Huh?
It's YouTube Premium.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not sure. I have considered going to YouTube Premium and then switching to YouTube Music Premium as well.
Yeah.
Just to save money.
YouTube Premium is one subscription I will never get rid of. I watch too much YouTube. I just do. That, and it supports the creators more. Creators make more off of a premium subscriber than they do a non-premium subscriber.
I mean, the only reason why I'm not subscribed to YouTube Premium is just because it's a little bit... I mean, I have to be careful with my finances now.
Yeah, that's a solid point. But I mean, just in general, look at what has happened with the TV streaming industry these days. Now it's you have to have all of these. Well, not only that, just you have to have all of these $10+ subscriptions for each and every one of these services to not be locked out of exclusive content that, hey, you might actually want to watch. And it's just, I almost fear this same thing would happen with the advertising industry should Google have to be split up, or they have to break up some of their that is one benefit I see with Google. It's like Netflix. A lot of people used to have problems with Netflix back when they were the only one, because Netflix, they set the prices. And
Netflix was never the only one, because Hulu.
Well, they used to be like the largest one, aside from YouTube. They used to be like.
Hulu was out
back in the day. If you had a TV streaming service, it was Netflix.
My family had Netflix
that was
and both Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video. Back before the streaming boom.
Well, most of it, the big one was Netflix. That was the big one. But now that Netflix is not just the only player in town, look what it's resulted. It's just a flippin' nightmare. And I kind of worry the same if this were to happen in the advertising space. Well, I don't advertise, so it's not that big of an issue for me, but I can understand for businesses why they'd worry if, oh, now we need to go to multiple vendors for advertising and we'd have to pay all this money for multiple platforms. And it's either we pay the money to make sure that we have the largest reach possible, or we're going to have to sacrifice and deal with less of a reach if we're going to not spend all this money on advertising. So it's just that's the big thing for me that I'm realizing it for this whole antitrust case, where
Yeah.
it makes sense why Google's advertising team is so big. Having that reach is such a pro that is so difficult to ignore.
Exactly. But shall we move on to our next topic, or do you have anything more to say?
Yeah, I think I butchered that one to death. That was a long, good discussion.
Yeah. All right. Well, so this is actually one that I found so interesting that I already made a YouTube video about it. Which, have you seen it, Alpha?
I have, yes.
So, Samsung has just announced their new rugged devices in a press release, which are the Galaxy X Cover 7 Pro and the Galaxy Tab Active 5 Pro. And the X Cover 7 Pro is a phone, and both have headphone jacks, micro SD card, and headphone jacks and micro SD card slots are something that both of them have. They both have docking pins because they're industrial devices, so that obviously makes sense. So they can be plugged into massive docks, like what we do with the calculators at my school. The tablet has hot swappable dual batteries. Yes, it has 2 battery packs, and they're hot swappable, meaning that you can just swap them out even as you're using them. And here's the a cool one. The tablet can be plugged in without a battery.
Okay. Wow. This does give me old Samsung vibes.
This truly does. I mean, that's what I say.
I'm almost worried it's a little too old, because it's like, who needs the headphone jack these days?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, this almost seems like Samsung might. Now, granted, I said this in my video, and I'll say it here. This doesn't necessarily mean that the Samsung Galaxy S26 is going to be an iPhone knockoff. But
it most certainly will.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that. But at the same time, it signals that maybe Samsung's starting to realize that, hey, maybe we should go back.
Yeah, that's... Micro SD is the big one for me. That was the number one feature I always brought up. And even though Samsung wasn't the only one that did this, it was also common on a lot of Androids back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's like, especially as all of the Androids were in the process of copying everything the iPhone had while Samsung was holding out for the longest, that was the big reason why I appreciated Samsung the most. While everyone was flocking towards making their iPhone clone, for the longest time, Samsung was like, no, we're not going to do what Apple's doing. Because not everything Apple does is right. There are some things we think we can do better, and Samsung did that. And then they stopped after the Galaxy S10 Plus.
And now iPhones are
S10 series in general.
And now iPhones have become a lot, and that's even made iPhones more boring.
True. Because I guess without Android competition, and literally the only thing we can look forward to is the next thing that we all know all of these Androids are going to copy immediately the second they see what Apple releases. It's just, we need competition. And for the longest time, Android has just not been doing it. They haven't been competing. They've just been
imitating.
Almost feels like submitting.
Yeah.
Submitting defeat.
Even though they weren't necessarily defeated when Apple unveiled the iPhone 10.
Yeah. Because, I mean, iPhone 10 versus Galaxy S8, I believe that was their flagship at the time.
Yep.
That was some of the that year was so crazy because 2017 at the beginning of the year was when the Galaxy S8 came out, where Samsung just launched what they called the Infinity display. They got rid of the thick bezels and stretched that display as far as they could. And then you had the iPhone 10 that year as well with its radical rethinking of a smartphone. And the two phones were so different.
And yet they were both really good.
Yeah. It was really hard to complain about either of them. I mean, you'd find their nitpicks like, oh, it was notch. It's just... My goodness. Those phones were so different, but I could still be excited about both. Because they were different. And so, in regards to this whole X cover, whatever this whole rugged design devices are, I hope that they take this mentality and bring it to their consumer devices again. Unfortunately, I can't rely on them to do that.
Yeah,
because
this is NOS. I mean, the Galaxy X7 Pro does still have a notch, which, I mean, we all know what Samsung thought about the notch when the iPhone 10 first came out.
Yeah.
Maybe I should actually try. Maybe I should actually try to get that haircut.
Let me see. My swoop is not going to help. Oh, here's a Pixel notch. Remember the Pixel 3 XL notch?
My hair is even worse at this, but here's a Pixel 3 notch.
Oh gosh.
There is actually a hairstyle called notch bangs that some women like, but
yeah, I've seen it. I don't like it.
Samsung had to get quite the stylist to
they
have those 4 actors.
Yeah, those poor actors. I don't want to imagine how they felt for the rest of the month with that haircut.
Imagine what that. Maybe they were wigs, to be fair.
Didn't one of them had a fairly shaved head though?
They have bald caps.
It was short hair. One of them had really short hair.
Yeah, you can just you could they probably had bald. They probably used a bald cap and then a wig. Like, that's very common practice in Hollywood.
It was ridiculous, but
I wonder how wonder how that kid in that ad feels now that he's probably a teenager.
Well, that wasn't worth it. Because look what they're doing now.
Because if he gets bullied at school, I'm sure he gets teased quite. That kid will probably get teased quite a lot as soon as they find out who he is.
Yeah. Also, come to think of it, my Samsung A50, that was a notch phone.
Yeah.
The good old days. The good old days when tech used to be interesting.
Shall we move on to our next topic about Samsung?
Yeah.
So Samsung paused the global launch on One UI 7 due to bugs.
Huh. Wait a sec. That actually sounds like a good idea. Why didn't Apple do this with all of their software from last year?
I know. It's almost as if Samsung is copying. Maybe this is how Samsung's finally getting unique. You know, they're finally pausing the launches on. They're finally fixing bugs.
a novel concept, right? It's like, no, we shouldn't ship something that doesn't work, which is currently what Apple's doing with their Apple BS and iOS 18. No, don't ship it if it's not ready, if it's not working.
Wonder if this is actually the start Samsung's comeback.
Well, let's see. They had one of their CEOs pass. From the sounds of it, just looking at some of their decisions, it turns out that CEO passing must have been a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, the other CEO admitted that one of the other CEOs admitted to copying Apple, and so maybe Samsung's finally coming back.
For that. Oh, it would be awesome to have a proper return to Samsung. Just make it less iPhone, guys.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I may buy Apple products because they're the best fit for me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everything Apple does is the correct way to do it.
No, look at this. This is not the way to do
fine woven
it.
Case.
Well, this is a leather case.
Oh, that is leather?
Yeah, this is the last leather case that Apple made.
Even then, leather cases, back when Apple... Cases in general, Apple makes really bad cases. I'm sorry.
This case has actually held up really well.
I mean, yeah, considering it's been almost 3 years.
No, I had this.
Point, yeah,
I bought this almost 2 years ago, or the case.
Oh.
Because I had a different case. I had my R. Hang on, let me grab it.
Yeah, I gotta find a new case for my 13 Pro Max. I actually cracked it.
30. You cracked your 13 Pro Max?
No, the case. I cracked the case for it.
I used to use this R box on my 14 Pro, but the reason why I have to get a bigger...
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The reason why I use my Apple leather case though is because I need a thinner case for my tripods. That way, it doesn't position my face at such a low angle. So went 40 minutes
not
reaching
everything.
For the cabinet.
Yeah, but not everything Apple does is the correct way to do it.
I believe believing that everything one entity or side does correct. I believe that's a word called tribalism.
Effectively, yeah.
But, so it's almost as if they're being tribalist.
Here's another good example of something that Apple does that I do not think is right. In fact, it's a bit broad, but I think you might know where I'm going with this. iPadOS.
Oh, great. Another iPadOS ramble. How it's basically the hardware can't take advantage of the software.
Yeah. Well, more specifically, I guess they're professional applications. The non-professional stuff, it's good. But the professional software like Final Cut,
yeah,
there's so much Apple got wrong with it.
I'll admit it. Samsung Dex is one of the things they did right.
I agree with that. Yes. It's not full Windows, despite that I do believe Samsung does make a tablet with Windows.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if they still do now, but I at least know at some point they did. But Samsung Dex is a great way to take full advantage of the big screen. Like, you can't really launch Dex on your phone, your Samsung Galaxy S phone or whatever.
I mean, you
always
can
have to
if you plug it into a dock, or else if you...
Well, that's the thing. You have to plug it into a monitor.
Yeah.
In order for that to work. But for the tablet, at least, it completely changes the UI and optimizes it for a more professional environment. In fact, recently, the business I work for picked up a Samsung tablet. And yeah, we're using Samsung Dex, and it's It's awesome. It really is that great. And there are many things in which that I'd say the iPad has to learn from in that regards, because I mean, remember iOS 13 and 14?
Yeah.
Where they decided to make a compact view that compacts the icons closer together, taking more advantage of the screen real estate that you gain with a tablet.
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah, that was genuinely one of their smartest ideas, and yet they got rid of it. Like, why?
For now, the icons look so the iPadOS home screen looks so bad now. Let me actually take a look. Like, come on. You can't tell me this actually looks good.
I see like a room for two more columns.
Same. This is
Yeah.
on iPad
And then
Mini.
you got mine. And then here's what it looks. Yeah, that's their smallest tablet. Here's their largest. Oops.
Is it literally the same amount of rows? Or is it the same amount of columns?
I see 6 columns. Yep, 6 columns.
Oh my! It's not enough on this iPad Mini, and they still have the same on your giant iPad Pro.
Yeah. Kind of nice that we have the both extremes right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've swapped between sizes of iPads for so many years. I've swapped back and forth between so many different types of sizes of iPads.
So in general, yeah, Apple doesn't do everything right, and it's glad to see that Samsung is at least beginning to recognize that and finally starting to do a few things unique again. Just bring it to your flagship line, please.
Yes, please.
Bring it to the Galaxy S series. The Galaxy S series is in desperate need of differentiation these days.
Yes. All right, well, shall I move on to our next topic now?
Yep, let's go for it.
Sorry, my water went down the wrong hatch, but the LG OLED Evo line of TVs can now track viewers' emotions for ads.
Well, screw that.
Huh?
I said screw that.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you want that?
I don't have, well, my TV's also not OLED. LG TV is not OLED, but I don't have that. I don't have that plugged in most of the time, but I don't know why you'd want that.
To me, that's just... Oh, we need to collect your data to personalize your ads. It's
That should be illegal.
No, you don't. What do you need? What do you need my data for advertising? I don't even click on any of the stuff that you advertise to me anyways that I do like all the Samsung ads that I see on Twitter. I mean, yeah, I'm a tech enthusiast, but am I going to buy a Samsung phone every time I see an ad? Absolutely not. And if I see an Apple ad on Twitter, for example, am I going to buy an iPhone for every single time I see an ad? Of course not. I don't buy the iPhone every year. I don't buy an iPad every year or a Mac or any tech device ever. All of these advertisements that, even if they are custom tailored for me, I buy things based on if I need them. Yeah, pretty much if I need them. If I don't need them, I won't buy them. I don't...
Yep.
I mean, advertisements are cool to learn when new things exist. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy something if I need it.
Yep, exactly. The point of advertising is to inform people.
So far, advertising has been less and less about it, and these days, marketing is just, oh, yeah, you gotta have her thing. Your life would never be the same without it.
Yeah. Alpha just summed up every single ad.
Pretty much. be it the Apple BS ads,
Oh.
AI BS ads in general, and the 5G stuff. Car commercials these days, they're never about advertising what the cars are capable of. It's all just showing it either racing down a highway or blazing trails or whatever. It's like,
that's all the car. I will give another thing that I want to praise Tesla for is that, I know we're going on a side tangent here, but one thing I want to praise Tesla for is that, when do you ever see a Tesla commercial?
they literally pride themselves for not having a PR department, and part of PR also handles marketing, I believe. Tesla does have marketing technically.
Yeah,
Like
on their
if you purchase something through their shop, you'll get some emails, marketing emails.
Yeah, and they
along
do. And I mean, they technically do, and I mean, they advertise stuff on their YouTube channel, but they don't. But they don't go out of their way to advertise like Nissan.
Yeah, and the stuff they do advertise is like features of the car that are actually useful. Like, I love seeing a Tesla dog mode commercial.
Oh,
Either commercial or... Dude!
same.
Dog mode is... You and I, we both... Well, you have pets. I don't have pets at the moment because they passed away.
Yeah.
But we're both familiar pet owners.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you use this feature, like, all the time?
I don't take my dogs out with me on car rides, but if I did, I would.
Well, what if you take well, we'll say, what if you were to go on vacation and you wanted to bring the dog with?
I don't know, because to be honest, because my family's dog is really more my mom's type of thing, and my mom doesn't really travel. So when I grow up, I don't know. I'm just like how you're not a cat person. I'm not necessarily a big dog person.
Well, this can also apply for cats too, though I'm not sure why you would. Well, they call it dog mode because dogs associated as man's best friend, but
Yeah,
I've heard people using it for other pets aside from dogs too.
Yeah,
Like Tesla even advertise you can use dog mode with your cats. Why not? We don't discriminate.
I mean, you can't. I mean, my dad mentioned how one time he actually drove with chickens in the car. Like, no, I mean, like, he drove live chickens in the car. Like, he had pet chickens that he just let go and ride in the car with them.
Well, when we order chicks, because we do have chickens, when we order chicks, we have to go to the post office and pick them up. So,
Oh wait, you guys probably don't have Tractor Supply Co. in your area.
well, we do. We just don't order from them because they don't offer the best price.
Oh, speaking of, that reminds me, I need to go to my I should probably go to my local Tractor Supply Co. and check out there. And one thing I like doing whenever I go to Tractor Supply Co. is checking out the chicks, and by chicks I mean literal ones.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we do have a Tractor Supply in the area, not too far. It's in the strip mall, I believe. It's just they don't offer the best pricing.
Yeah.
That, and also they don't do a good job at separating the males and the females. We mostly care about, well, especially when we want layers, which think we're due for layers this year. Usually, Tractor Supply does not do as good of a job separating the males from the females.
Yeah, or what are layers?
Birds whose sole purpose is to lay eggs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, hens. Yeah, that's...
Yep.
Yeah, most of... Yeah, my dad used to own chickens, and he explained to me that basically for the most part you only want female... you only want to have one rooster because...
Pretty much, yeah.
Because if you get too many roosters in there, then they'll start fighting, and it'll be too chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good rooster. Had a real good rooster that kept the flock in order.
Is he gone now?
We let him wander around. Yeah, he's passed. But he was a good rooster. But
yeah, I want I think I will own chickens when I grow up. Because even though I'm not
I don't
necessarily
know
big,
because I don't know because I cannot handle the smell of their.
manure.
Yeah, I guess that's the nicest
Yeah.
way to put it. I will literally get sick from the smell of it.
I don't mind the smell of chicken coop that badly, but I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sensitive to smells in general, and so
So,
I got to be careful
okay.
with. Most of the time, if I get near a manure pile of any kind, it doesn't really matter. It's enough to make me want to vomit.
Uh,
So,
I think that's what it's supposed to do, though, kinda. So, shall this is not a chicken podcast.
We're talking about advertising or somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the LG TV and the advertisement thing. But yeah, I mean, in general though, Tesla's method of advertising, it's subtle, and when they do make a post on Twitter or an email, send an email, it's all about ways you can actually use the car that are useful instead of, ooh, look at this car blazing through some off-road trail, or look at how fast this is going down the highway. It's like, oh, or for Cadillac commercials. I see a lot of Cadillac commercials. Look at this pretty dial made out of diamonds. It's like,
I know. There's some arguments I want to make about these car ads. First of all, how often do people actually go off-roading? I want to know. I've never.
but we need a vehicle to tame the gravel driveway.
Just if you really need that kind of vehicle, just pave your own driveway. Like, just pay to pave it.
Yeah. Yeah, for your information, guys, you do not need a special vehicle for a gravel driveway. My car is a pavement princess, and she is just fine on our gravel driveway.
All vehicles are technically meant to handle gravel for. There's some. That's not as common now, but there's some roads that in rural areas, depending on which state you live in, that are not paved.
Yep. They also need to be able to handle potholes. Oh yes, we need a special vehicle to tame the potholes in Michigan's terrible highways.
My father complains about potholes so much, to the point where there was one road that was so rough that he wanted to take his F-150 down that road.
Would you believe me if I told you that I've actually off-roaded my car?
I believe that. The route I take to school is it's not as rough as it could be, but it's so rough it's so incredibly rough that you'd swear my tires would be damaged by now from how bad it is, but they're not.
I wouldn't think the tires would be damaged. I think your suspension would be damaged.
Yeah, it's just my suspension, but it's not damaged from that.
Yeah.
And
at the same time, the street that my place of employment is located on right now, it is. It's basically what happened to the street that I live on. It's all crumbled up. You got massive potholes everywhere, and they are hard to dodge. And especially unlike here where I live, you could drive on the shoulder at least to avoid these. But no, not the street where I work on. We got bike lanes there, and people actually do use them for biking and walking up and down the street. And in general, it is hard to drive on that street now because you got these massive potholes everywhere. It's a hilly street, so you can't exactly see them all the time.
And of course, there's no such thing as fixing the potholes. That's too ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that would require this cool thing called sanity and reason.
I'm
also mad that our city, M26, the strip that goes through Uptown in M26. That was getting pretty bad last year, so the city wasted all of this money to tear up all of these individual concrete sections, only to repave it with more concrete. And I guess they must have cheapened out on the concrete or something, because it's actually in worse condition than it was last year, and it was pretty bad last year.
Hold up, there's a cop chase going outside my house, and I just saw a car leave.
I saw the gumballs. I just saw the reflection of the gumballs.
I wonder if the guy that was leaving across my street was being chased down by the cops.
Oh dear, that's
Oh well, not something for me to worry about.
yeah.
All right, getting back. But getting back on topic from gumballs. When my dad and I were on a road trip last October, we drove to a major city when the roads were some of them were Houghton level bad. Even one of the most major roads in that city, it was Houghton level bad.
Yeah.
And his car was just fine. And he drove an M6,
Which is going to have a harsh, sporty suspension.
Yeah.
But just all of these special. I hate that automakers are now like, oh, we got the regular version, and then we got the tough off-road version for those who need to conquer their gravel driveways and their potholes. It's like,
I know.
I hate it. I can't tell you how much I hate it that they're wasting all this money on these vehicles. And then, yeah, these tough off-road versions. Oh, yeah, of course the automakers are going to charge more for them. And, oh, what's the difference? Half the time, mechanically, there is no difference. It's, oh, there's plastic cladding on the side of your car. So now your car looks cheaper, despite you spending more money on it. And then the other half of the time is, oh, we gained half an inch of ground clearance. Wow. That makes you tough and off-roady, doesn't it?
My grandmother's 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's so cheap because it's the off-roading version. Even though my grandparents never went off-roading, it is it feels so cheap on the inside.
Yep.
But yeah, that's...
I should make a video on the Drive channel just expressing my anger for car marketing, because it has driven people to buy so many cars that I don't think makes sense for them.
I know, but...
And then the money that they spend on them, too. It's just...
I know.
Angering.
Shall we get back on topic?
Yes. We should.
Alright, so the Anker Eufy Make U1 is a UV printer that's a Kickstarter project.
So, no ink cartridge replacements, obviously.
Nope. No toner either.
No toner cartridge replacements.
You can do color with that.
I was just about to ask, can you do color with this technology?
Yeah, you will be able to if it materializes.
That might actually be the ultimate printer.
Oh my gosh.
That could actually be the ultimate printer, where the only thing you need to supply it is paper.
And electricity, technically, but yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's obvious. That's a given with all printers. Well, I guess supplying it paper is a given with all printers, too. Either way, that actually could be the ultimate printer.
I'm speechless.
Genuinely, yeah. The only question is, the price.
I mean, I'm sure this technology, I'm sure this printer is not going to be cheap when it does come out. But once it eventually manages to, but once the technology gets a lot more mature and established, I think this is going to be the ultimate printer.
This is probably a revolutionary technology for printing technology. It's like
that would be
everyone's like, who cares
long.
about printers these days? But
I've been waiting for so long for a printer revolution, and now I'm so glad it's finally here.
HP would probably be the last company to adopt this technology.
And
it's
they're going
to It's either that or they're going to charge you a subscription to activate the UV bulbs or whatever.
I think HP is going down on this one.
Oh, first off, their printers in general suck. They
their
break
computers are
all
bad.
the time.
Their computers are just as worse now.
Yeah.
They don't make phones anymore. Their tablets are just as bad.
Yep. How are their monitors? I know that they makes monitors. It's just
They're just as bad.
Oh, they're still bad too. So
yeah, like
so let's see. HP can't build a computer. They can't build a monitor. They can't build a tablet. They can't build a keyboard or a mouse. Oh, you do not want to touch HP peripherals. They are just terribly cheap.
Oh, you should. This is why we need Tabby here to help us rant on HP.
Yeah, and they also can't build a printer, so
because Tabby had trouble with their monitors too.
Is HP good for anything?
No. In the words of Tabby, Cat 406, everything that Dell does is a step above HP.
This might explain why I see so many Dells around, despite that Dell is very infamous for their software bloating.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why my family doesn't buy HP computers anymore, but...
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I can understand why. I think I've been noticing a decline in HP computer and just HP product sales in general.
So have
I'm seeing more and more Dell laptops, more and more MacBooks ever since the Apple Silicon transition. Just, yeah, the only reason I think people would still buy HP is if the price is right.
Yep.
Because, I mean,
it's
I
like
guess that's the one
Mitsubishi
thing
now.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing HP's good at. They're good at offering you a pretty low price for a low quality product.
Yes. HP stands for, in the words of Cole Pinto from the Phone Bin Diary, who was actually going to be a guest on the show in a deleted episode back in 2023. He said that, in his words, HP now stands for horrible product.
Effectively. So, ooh, yeah, this UV printer technology, that's effectively the only thing you need to pay for at this point is paper, because you're already paying for your electricity for other things.
Yeah.
So just in a world where so many things are subscription based these days, just having a product come out that is one-time purchase, that's big.
If Anker keeps going with this, there's a chance they may become the world's most valuable company or close to it.
Well, I guess I should ask, do you know if this technology is patented?
I think it is. Or else they're in the process of trying to make it patented.
So yeah, finally there's actually hope in the printer space.
There's hope of Samsung. There's hope in the printer space. We've had a lot. This is for the first podcast episode that's been positive in quite a while.
Not gonna lie, today actually kind of does feel like one of the few good days to be a tech enthusiast.
And that's why I was stoked for this episode, but Shall I
Yeah,
move on to
albeit it's excitement for printers and for well, not particularly consumer lineup of Samsung, but I mean, I haven't had too much to complain about these. Meta's getting served what they should have been served years ago. Just wow.
I do have something to. Of course, there always has to be some bad news coming up, which.
But yeah, of course.
Is our next topic.
Oh. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, so AI generated music counts for 18% of Deezer's music.
That's sad.
Yep. To be fair, Spotify has that problem too. Although they also generate themselves.
So as a musician, keep I work again, keep in mind I work 2 jobs. One is a CNC machinist, the other is a musician. Yes, I do get paid for my music work. As a musician, I personally find this AI music to be offensive.
I do too, because the whole point of the whole point of art is to experience, is to enjoy what other people have created, which is one of the reasons why I pay for Apple Music and not Spotify is so that way I can enjoy art work that real artists have created.
I mean, I think about this all the time. Yes, being a musician is technically also an artist. It's not being an artist isn't just like paintings or something visual. Being an artist comes in multiple forms, be it like a painter or a sculptor or a musician in my case, or in both of our cases, we are content creators, videographers. Photographers is also a form of art. Art comes in many forms. So my personal definition that I use to describe art is an expression.
Yep. And robots can't express.
True. That's the thing. Robots, they don't have a soul. They are computer programs. And they can't express. They can only evaluate and show a result. And so all of this AI art, be it images, videos, music, to me, at this point, after a lot of time has settled in. Oh, one sec. My aunt has been messaging me all day about she's looking to buy a new MacBook.
Oh.
Which, to be fair, she's had like her 15-inch 2015 MacBook Pro for
10 years.
Since 2015. Yeah, so I think it's time. Let's see.
That's on topic anyway, so
yeah. Yep.
What Mac is she thinking of buying?
15-inch MacBook Air.
Not bad.
It's like she's coming from a 15-inch laptop. And the 15-inch MacBook Air dropped from like $14.99 to $11.99 or something like that.
Yeah. It's a good deal.
So it's like, yeah, it's dude, it is so hard to argue against the value of the MacBook Air these days. I mean, yeah, people will complain that it starts at 4 figures. But at the same time, you are getting a lot for those 4 figures. It's just hard. It's an awesome value. She's getting the sky blue variant.
Ooh, we actually do have a topic regarding sky blue and Apple later on, but that's not for right now.
So, yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted at the moment because she's been messaging me all day. It's like I'm trying to get this over with. So,
I know.
anywho,
I understand.
yeah. All right. Back to the art conversation. All of this AI art to me is, for one, it's theft because,
Yep.
again, computers don't have a soul, which means all they can do is take in data and then output it. But if these AI artists or whatever are outputting data, that means it has to be input from somewhere, and a lot of the times it's from copyrighted material where the artist of said copyright material has not given permission. And so for one, that in itself irks me. But then just also, I mean, can it spit out some good results that are impressive?
Sometimes.
I mean, sometimes, yeah. But especially when it comes to music.
Oh. It sounds, the only reason why it sounds realistic, like people could have created, is because of how bad the music industry has gotten.
So far, I've been able to successfully identify every single AI generated song.
I don't even bother listening to AI generated music, so.
Well, most of the time it's by accident or someone showing me, hey, AI just made this cool thing, check it out. And
I can all. But one thing
to me, it sounds terrible, though. I should let you know from an audiophile's perspective, it never gets the voice right.
No.
You can, if there's vocals in an AI song, you can always immediately tell. It is awful. It is actually legit painful for me to listen to it, try to replicate a voice. It is, is that painful for my ears to listen to.
I understand.
Yeah.
One thing I can always identify is whenever my friends try to show me the Instagram reels or TikToks that they consume. So whenever they're AI generated, I can always tell. And then my friends claim that they're not AI generated.
Yeah, it's just I've tried to see all avenues as of why there's benefits to this, but the only benefit I can think of, and this is a benefit for corporate America today and not for the artists. It's just, why hire and pay all these people to make this when AI can produce just as good of results? And sometimes you're not looking for soul within an art piece. Sometimes you're just looking for either a representation or, I don't know. Basically, what I'm trying to say is sometimes soul within the art piece is not what you're looking for. Like when I make YouTube videos, oftentimes the images I look for, it's not for, what's the best done image of this? It's what I'm looking for is, does it represent what I'm talking about good enough?
Same thing for this podcast.
Yeah. So, yeah, not every single image or sound or every form of art needs to have a soul, and that's what worries me, because for the art that is meant to have it, it's a weird thing, but
yeah, I understand.
It's a weird thing to explain to the tech community, because arguably tech and art are two different things.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, you'll get people like us who, I focus on the design of smartphones. Meanwhile, others will, or I focus on the design of like desktops. I like iMacs. While another firm like Linus Media Group, to name an example, He just focuses on the technical specifications and not really the design. So, yeah, I understand. It's two different communities, and trying to explain the pure art side to a pure tech side, it's difficult, but no, all of this AI generated art, it's just it lacks a soul, it lacks emotion, and it just as an artist, it's offensive. It completely misses the point of what art is supposed to be.
I understand, but shall we move on to our next? Well, we can't actually talk about this topic because Tabby's not here, but shall we move on to our next topic after that?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to EV news. The free lifetime supercharging on the Tesla Model S and X purchases are terminating soon in North America. Finally.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of understanding why they were doing it. It's because S and X are not exactly high volume cars.
Yeah.
They're kind of more like Halo products for Tesla.
Yep.
But at the same time, like, they still do make money off of them. So,
Makes valid sense.
if only I had the money, dude, I would have loved to buy a Model X.
Yeah, I would love to buy someday.
Especially
Someday I
at
will
this
buy
time.
it. Someday I will buy a Tesla Model S Plaid if they keep making them.
Even then, like, even if Tesla stops making the Model S Plaid, I'm sure that we'd be able to find an easier time looking for them on the used market. And because they're much simpler vehicles compared
Yeah.
to gas-powered vehicles, to my knowledge, reliability usually is not that big of an issue with
Or-
older electric cars.
I mean, I guess I should say that even if, or someday I want to buy a Tesla Model S Plaid or whatever their equivalent is of it by the time I get old enough to actually afford one car like that.
Yeah.
Because my guess is that they'll probably keep going for the Model S.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, Tesla has already expressed interest that yes, they Model S was an important car for them. That because back in 2012, that was the electric car that changed the whole industry forever.
Yep.
That was the first long distance electric vehicle. It was built for traveling far, long distance. I mean, out of spec motoring showcased one of the and well, come to think of it, I think they actually found like VIN number 69. I know, internet joke, but I think they found Model S VIN number 69, and they raced that car from Seattle, Washington to Boston, Massachusetts. And it was crazy to think that was the first long distance electric car. There were none that came before it. And so I don't know where I'm going with this, but oh yeah, right. The Model S has always been important to Tesla for that reason. It is basically the vehicle that changed the EV industry forever. And to my knowledge, Tesla still has interest in keeping it updated. I hear that they might finally be doing a full architecture redesign. Like, I'm hoping for potentially going to the 800 volt class instead of sticking to the 400 volt class, which is awesome for a charging reason.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, Model S is still important for them, even though it's not exactly their high volume product. It's really more of a Halo product for them at this point, but at the same time, I'm also grateful that the free lifetime supercharging thing will be going away for them soon, because
Yeah.
I've already made a video discussing what happens if you give free charging.
Basically,
it becomes a nightmare.
basically, people that could otherwise charge at home just hog up the chargers for long distance drivers.
Yeah, it actually becomes a problem because you're disincentivizing what we all should be doing, and it's charging at home, keeping the
Yep.
public chargers decongested.
All right.
So,
Well, speaking of public, shall we move on to our next topic?
uh, oh, is it this lawsuit?
Oh no! I forgot we haven't covered that yet. But okay, no,
Oh,
I thought we were covering I thought we were covering the next topic after that. But okay, I guess we should cover this lawsuit, which is that
yeah.
there's a lawsuit in the United States that claims that Tesla is speeding up odometers to avoid warranty repairs.
You want to know something?
That's
I think
absolutely
this whole
not
thing
true.
is. I think it's BS.
I'm sure. I wonder if this is actually if this is actually done by a secret political enemy.
I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case, actually, because for one, doing this at all is very illegal. But also, even if they were doing it, I know a testing firm that would have caught it right away.
I mean, there's computer code that monitors odometers, for goodness sakes. It is not. I'm a programmer. I've taken coding classes. I know that if there was that kind of code, testers would have found it immediately.
Yes, and also out of spec. Again, I'm going to bring them up when they do their range tests. As part of their procedure, I believe they also do a quick odometer calibration, because sometimes the odometer might be ever so slightly off. It's like the speedometer too. It's not all. You're never going to get a perfect one, but they do a quick odometer calibration test to see how far off is the trip computer of the vehicle going to be, and they've calculated Teslas to be as close to spot on as you can get. So, if they were doing this, and again, out of spec has accumulated how many miles in Teslas? Be it through road trips, daily driving, testing, they've accumulated hundreds of thousands of miles in these cars. They would have noticed if something was off about this. To me, this whole thing is BS.
Yeah.
And the only counter argument I've heard, which is coming from my parents, because my parents are so anti-EV like you would not believe, which is kind of funny because I'm the only pro EV guy in the house. But they were bringing up Dieselgate, how the Volkswagen's diesel cars had the ability to detect if it was being tested, and if it did that, it would lower the horsepower or change the tuning of the engine to put out the proper emissions to standard. And then if it's not being tested, it would basically not do that and produce all of these emissions that it's not supposed to. That's pretty much what the whole Dieselgate thing was. It just to sum it up, it was pretty much Volkswagen put in a special testing mode that drastically changed the performance of the car to hide that their normal performance is technically way non-compliant to regulation. So that's the only thing I heard. It's like the theory is, Tesla's doing, if the car is detecting it's being tested, then it's going to hide that it's speeding up the odometer. And if it detects it's not being tested, well, then, yeah, speed the odometer up. But it's just, For one, how do you do that? How do you detect if you're being mileage accumulated tested or not?
You would have to get, like, there's no way to do that.
Like emissions testing, yeah, there's a pretty good way to tell if you're being tested for emissions. But based off of, okay, am I a mileage accumulation car for testing purposes? How the heck is the car supposed to know that?
Hopefully some lawyers on Tesla side are going to realize this.
Because it's like mileage accumulation isn't done to one standard. There's city mileage, there's highway mileage, there's track mileage, that's another thing too. Just that's the one thing that doesn't how would a car realistically be able to detect if it's being mileage accumulation tested?
I don't know,
that makes no
but
sense.
Shall I move on to our next topic?
Yeah, pretty much. I genuinely think that whole story, the whole lawsuit is BS.
I'm sure.
I really do. I would not be shocked if it's more nonsense from the left.
I'm sure it is, but getting back on topic, shall I move on to our next one?
Yep, alright.
So Lyft, the service that you can use to get public transportation, it's coming to Europe now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
For someone. I mean, it probably makes more sense in Europe because you get higher density urban living situation where not as many people own cars like we do.
Yeah, that's just not part of their culture.
I do find it a bit shocking that they actually didn't bring it sooner because, again, contrary to what a lot of people believe about public transportation, guys, I'm sorry, it just does not work out here. It doesn't. It does not work in rural America. You have to be in an urban dense environment for it to work. Otherwise, you're just asking for more trouble. You're just asking for more trouble and more inconvenience. Yeah, there's a reason why I own my own personal vehicle. Aside from just I like driving.
Because I'm 17, but
I need a car to get places, and I can't rely on anyone else to do it. I mean, we do technically have a grand total of 1 taxi cab and 2 buses.
We only have 1 taxi in my city. And sometimes for big events we'll have shuttles, but otherwise that's it.
Well, that's what our buses are for because, again, I live in a college town. Houghton is a college town, so they need the buses for the MTU students to get to Walmart and back. So, but yeah, other than that, it's like no, everyone else owns their own car, and we take our own car to wherever we need to go.
Most of the time, and a lot of times, college students don't own their own cars just because they can't afford them. Because no wonder how they can't afford cars. College is very, very, very expensive.
Yeah. It drives me nuts when I see a brand new luxury car that's not a professor car. Because it's like, my goodness, how spoiled can some of these kids get? It drives me nuts.
I know. I mean, there's a massive difference between between a college age student or a college age person, adult, actually earning the money to go out and buy a luxury car versus having their parents buy it. Here's the
thing: if you're a teenager that has actually worked their butt off to actually be able to afford a nice luxury car, you have my respect. If you worked for it, that's the thing. if you just get a hand-me-down from your parents, no. It's, to me, it's like, dude, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening once you get out of college.
I mean, I have a hand-me-down car, but it's a decent car, but it's not a luxury. I mean, it was a luxury car, but it's not now.
It's a Mercedes.
I mean, it's a Mercedes.
It's just an old luxury car.
It's like buying an old MacBook Pro.
Effectively, yeah.
With just as high maintenance, with even higher maintenance than with just as high maintenance as an old MacBook
true.
Pro.
Yep, that is true. Yeah, even like, again, both of my cars that I've owned, my parents have never poured a single penny into it. Red Fox was purchased by my own money that I worked for, and Stardust, well, technically is on a loan payment, but so far I have not missed a single loan payment. In fact, I'm actually ahead on my payments.
Yeah, my next car, because I'll be buying it because I'll probably get in the summer between my junior and senior years. So in the summer of 2026, my dad will pay for that one, and then afterwards, I'll have to pay for all my own cars after that.
Well, the next one's probably gonna be a great deal because what is it? A Model 3?
It probably will be a Model 3, yeah.
It also reminds me in the group chat, Tavi and all, the two of us were discussing how he's trying to convince his mom to go for Model 3 because, damn it, how do you argue the value of those cars?
I know for the Model 3. I mean, once I actually go out and get a job, which I want to be an electrician by trade, by official certification when I grow up. By the way.
Oh, nice.
Because that's what I want my company to kind of focus on anyway. So I'm like, why not just actually get the certification and actually do that?
That's a smart idea. That's a really smart idea.
Because no one else wants to become I mean, there are some people that want to become work in the trades now, but not a whole lot, and it's good. There's good money to be had.
Yeah, I mean, especially guys, I'm dead serious when I say this. There are tons of openings, tons of job openings in the trades, in the trades right now. Like, you would not believe.
And furthermore, I'll be able to actually, and furthermore, if I actually do work in the trades, I should be able to move out by the time I'm 23 or 24. Easily.
Yeah. I mean, me working in the trades has allowed me to develop a skill that basically I could move anywhere in the country and I should be able to get picked up by someone.
Same thing as that's the benefit of working as trades. You can literally do it anywhere.
And you also don't have to waste all of this money on college courses.
As one reason why I didn't want to necessarily why I don't want to get a degree in IT is because there's no real good way to move up in the IT world unless you move up with a computer science world, unless you move to Texas or California, at least here in the U.S.
And aren't both of those, well, one state in particular, isn't one of them extremely expensive to live in?
Yes, California is very expensive to live in, and I don't ever want to live there. And Texas, it's a nice place, but it's just Texas is better, but but especially the big cities still have their issues, and there's still, and I mean,
yep,
I'm not saying. I'm in Texas. I mean, Texas is cheaper to live in than California, but still, well, again, Texas.
Well, it doesn't matter where you go. Anywhere you go is going to be cheaper than California.
But it's still, again, I should if you want to live in the big cities in Texas, like I know, it's cheaper than California, but it still does cost a pretty penny.
Yeah. Well, also don't come to Houghton because cost of living up here is also stupidly high.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't worry, I have no plans on moving anywhere. I have no plans on moving anywhere north of I-70.
I still can't believe how expensive our electricity is.
In fact, my plan is to probably stay in my same area.
I still have my heart set on North Carolina. It's just right now is the worst time to move there.
Have you ever considered moving to Wisconsin?
A few times. Like, my parents said Wausau would be... I do well in Wausau. They've got some manufacturing jobs down there.
I think you should go down there personally because it's not too. The cost of living is still is pretty decent. I mean, you'll be a lot closer to your family in Wausau, which that's
true.
a big one.
Especially my grandparents. I can't tell you how much I love visiting them.
I really think you should go for Wausau.
I might look into it more. And another big thing for me, especially if I do more vehicle testing, I'm at the start of I-39.
That too, and another what am I trying? As I mean, the Wausau. I mean, if I had to live anywhere up north, I would either live in probably Wisconsin or else Montana.
Oh, Montana's... One of these days, if I can ever get my workaholic dad out of the office, I'd love to go out to Montana with him.
I would love to go out to South Dakota would be even a greater place to live in, and the reason why is because you can do 80 miles per hour on the roads on all the interstates there, and yeah, except for in Sioux Falls and Rapid City, and yes, you can get your driver's license at 14 and a half there.
Well, that doesn't matter for you because you're well past. Well, you already have your license.
I mean, that doesn't matter for me, but I mean, for my kids, that would be great.
But at the same time, do you really want to trust people that young in cars?
Okay, this is, I guess I should mention a factor of science, which is that, believe it or not, you have to be 14 to get your permit there, just like in Arkansas.
I believe in the state of Michigan, you have to be 14 and 8 months.
It's 14 and 9 months.
Oh wait, no, it's 14 and 8 months for attending the classes. Yep. Yeah, that's... If I recall, actually, literally the day I would officially qualify for that was literally the day that those classes started. Just... How was it that convenient for me? When I turned 14 and 8 months, that was the first day of class. When I officially turned 16, that was the first day for the second course of driver's ed.
Yeah, I've never had official driver's ed training, but I guess I should mention that my mom wants me to download my mom is trying to fight really hard to make me download an insurance app right now. To save money.
I mean, what's the savings difference?
It's 30%. It's 30%, but because I don't want to have any insurance companies link any data to me, and my dad said that he'd be willing that he could probably pay. My dad's on my side, so.
So are you gonna pay the extra 30% then?
I don't have. No, I don't have that kind of money. Even if I got a job somewhere else, I still wouldn't be able to come up with that kind of money.
Dude, imagine my insurance rates.
Yeah.
Because I have to have full coverage. You at least have a car that's paid for.
Yeah.
Though it being a Mercedes does not help.
Also, I'm a 17-year-old male, which especially doesn't help.
I am so scared to see what my latest insurance bill is. I mean, last one was $950. And depending on what happens in relation to a later topic, I have no clue how I'll be able to pay the insurance unless my chargebacks go through.
Oh, so shall I move on to our next topic so that we can move on to that topic since we actually do need time to cover the next topic
Yeah,
after this one.
Yep.
Okay, so Walmart has announced their new charging network featuring Albitronics, which is great because Albitronics are known for being tanks.
Oh yeah, they are. There's two types of charging stations. You got your superchargers, and then you got your Albitronics that are built to last. Oh. So Walmart's not going to use. I learned through a video from State of Charge that apparently Walmart's not exclusively using Albitronics, but they're looking for something that was kind of tested on that level. So yeah, they're not using Albitronic exclusively, but as of right now, the current sites that they have, which are there's only 3 of them at the moment, 2 in Texas, 1 in Arkansas. Those are featuring Albitronics. But here's one thing that I find incredibly exciting because this even applies to me. Their plan. Seriously, Mom?
This is a comment. Does your mom know you're recording?
That's not the right question. The right question is, does she care if I'm recording?
I think the answer is no.
That is the answer.
Again, I think that's another reason why maybe you should consider moving to Wausau.
So, anywho, yeah, here's the reason why I'm excited, because this applies to me. Walmart said all of their stores, and this even includes Sam's Clubs too, all of their stores will be featuring high power DC charging stations.
Yes! Final! Oh my.
Which means, coming to Houghton, we're finally getting a charger that is capable of more than 100 kilowatts. Oh.
I would sing Celebration by Kool and the Gang, but I get copyright striked for that, so, and I don't even like that song, so.
Fair enough, just, oh. And the big thing they're not exactly focusing on it being for corridor travel. What their idea is, hey, there are some people that have to deal with stupid landlords that won't let them install home charging or whatever. So the purpose of their charging stations, their charging network, is for those who can't charge at home.
And also, that would be handy. Those would be handy just for people to top up their cars.
And again, WalMarts are everywhere.
Yes.
Even our stupid small middle of nowhere town has one.
Well, actually no, but yeah. Yeah, Walmart is everywhere.
If I recall, what was the statistic? Like 90% of Americans live an average of 10 miles from a Walmart or something like that. That's a big deal. So, well, no, this is not a big deal for corridor long distance traveling. It's a big deal for getting those types of chargers cleared so people can travel.
I mean, that is kind of a big deal for corridor travelers too, because if you think about it, I mean, there are several Walmart locations that are either right by interstates or else not far from too far away from them.
Well, that's usually not the case most of the time. Most of the time, you tend to have to drive a mile or two off the highway.
It's a mile or two, but if you want to top up and top up your car, I mean, that's still not too bad considering.
Yeah, my only thing is I don't typically like to drive a mile deep. Like, let's say you're on a road trip in your Mercedes, for example. Do you really want to drive 2 to 3 to 5 miles into town just to go to a gas station?
Depends on how badly I need it and how far away I am from the next exit.
Okay, yeah, that's true, but
But if I have the
ideally ideally you'd
Ideally,
want it like
no.
right off the highway.
yeah, and
So,
does Michigan on the does Michigan advertise services at interstate exits? Like, do they advertise like the specific locations, or do they just put like Indiana does, like where they just advertise like food, gas, lodging, or just like that without the specific locations, like
oh
most
yeah,
southern states
they
do?
well, I don't. The genuine truth is I can't really tell you because I hardly ever travel down I-75. The only time I hit I-75 is for the very short stint between St. Ignace and then basically once I pass through Mackinac City to head to Petoskey, I am like the first exit off.
Okay, let me.
get to
I'll
Petoskey.
check it on Google Maps while I'm at.
Yeah, so the genuine truth is I actually don't know. I don't travel down I-75 enough to know, which is it's crazy to think, but yeah, I'm on I-75 usually for a very, very short amount of time.
Okay, let me go back on I'll actually check that right now. Oh. Google Maps Street View is not necessarily. I prefer using it on a touchscreen, but okay, they do. Okay, they do advertise services. Okay, yeah. Okay, so not all states require you to advertise the exact distance, which really annoys me, because that means that services can get away with advertising even if they're like, or even if they're unknowingly like 5 to 10 miles away.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that answers that question. That goes to show you how much I travel downstate. I really don't that much.
You should.
Well, I don't have a reason to.
That's true.
The only reason to go downstate for me is either the Petoskey house, which I'm surprised had survived that ice storm that came through a month ago or so. Have you actually heard about the ice storm that came through the northern Lower Peninsula? Oh.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
You told me about
our
it.
our Petoskey neighbors they're removing branches from the roofs. They're still cleaning up the yard. I think a branch fell and completely destroyed the roof of their van.
Oh.
So, yeah. And I hear if you go along, like I-75 downstate, you'll find all of these poles, these trees, with no branches on them. They're stripped of their branches. So, yeah.
I've never been to Michigan before, so I can't say for myself. Speaking of,
lots of trees.
Maybe I should go to Michigan sometime.
Just in the summer. Do not come in the winter.
Obviously, the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, the UP is pretty. It's just
not a good place to live.
Yeah, I mean the scenery is pretty. That's a big reason why I'm eyeing the mountains in North Carolina. I've gotten so used to pretty scenery. I could never live in Kansas or South Dakota.
I think Kansas is scenic, but I just grow. Well, I live in a kind of area that's both. Really hilly, but there's also a lot. But it's also not hard to find fields off to the side.
Yeah. In Michigan's northern peninsula, especially, it's trees, so much green. So if you love that kind of stuff, it is pretty.
I do.
And then if you watch my road trip videos, there's this one scene that I get. There's this one scene that I always play in all of my road trip videos every time I drive through there. It's in between Lance and Baraga.
Yeah.
Just one of the most beautiful shots you could ever get.
Yeah, it's a really gore. I mean, even if they built more interstates in the UP, I'm sure they would be just as scenic, but why build interstates up there?
Nobody cares about us. Nope, nobody legitimately cares about us. Not
Shall
even
I
our
move-
own governor. So
Shall I move on to our next topic, by the way? Speaking of not caring. So that way this doesn't wind up becoming a highway episode like our highway show like our last episode did.
yeah. But I just wanted to point out, big news. Basically every Walmart coming soon to a Walmart and Sam's Club near you. 400 kilowatt chargers.
That'll be awesome.
That's just awesome. Yeah. All right. And now we got to move on to one of the biggest nightmares I am still currently dealing with. And I got to make an update video on this because a lot has happened since that first video I uploaded.
Please explain.
So, long story short, if you really want the full version of the story, Teddy just put a link in the description of the video and just take him to that. Because I hate having to re-explain the long story time and time and time again. So, yeah, if you want to learn the whole thing, just go to my vlog channel and you'll learn the whole story there. But effectively, to give you the long story short, I've mentioned a couple times about I'm planning to go to DC this August to visit a host that's currently not here.
Tabby.
Yeah. And in that process, I got a buddy who's coming with me. And we're in the process of booking a hotel room right now. I tried doing that on Easter Sunday night. Except the hotel that I attempted to book with...
Extended Stay America.
Yeah, Extended Stay America. That's who I tried to book with. They had a screw up. Not me. I'm not the one who screwed up. Something went wrong on their end. And instead of booking me for those dates in August, they booked me for that very night. You can probably guess where the whole nightmare continues from that. Because they booked me that very night, I'm getting charged up the wazoo for a no-show fee. And this didn't make it in that video yet because it didn't happen until the morning I uploaded the video. They charged me an additional $650.
What? So in other words, you're out the whole $750? That's enough money to buy an iPhone 16e and just $50 short of buying an iPhone 16.
So, yeah, for a mistake they made. And I tried calling customer support, except they were of absolutely no help.
Basically, they said that you made the booking out. Basically, you made there's 6 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is their cancellation hours, and you couldn't cancel after 6 p.m. And I believe they would not let you cancel the next day morning at 9 a.m.
Yeah, the problem was, and I told this to them straight to their faces, the time window you gave me was -3 hours.
Yep, and I'm guessing when you tried calling the next day, there was no lock.
I called immediately when their cancellation office opened. Absolutely no help because, I didn't call before 6 p.m. I didn't call within the -3 hour time window.
It's called negative for a reason.
Yeah, it means that time doesn't exist. So they effectively gave me no time window at all to resolve a mistake that they made, and now I'm somehow paying the price for it.
I think that's a word that's referred to as bull.
If I recall, I believe this is technically considered fraud, right?
It's called a felony.
Yeah. So, luckily, and again, a lot has happened since then, but that's the long story short. They made a mistake. I'm getting charged up the wazoo for their mistake, and so far ESA has done absolutely nothing, well, customer service wise, to do that. So that's what happened on my video I uploaded Tuesday. Now a lot more has happened since then, and I'm going to record a video about this tonight. I'm going to try to make it a little higher quality to include some visuals and such, because again, a lot has happened since then. But basically, within the time since I had recorded that video, which was Monday night, I have since gotten in contact with Discover, which is the credit card company I used for, well, I have two different credit cards. There's my Apple card, and then I have my Discover card. Guys, seriously, if you're looking for a credit card and you can't apply for the Apple card, Discover is awesome. Especially if you need to call customer support. I mean, they unfortunately have one of those AI phone tree things, but so far the AI phone tree is actually, they invested a lot of time and money into that. And like, don't you hate when you get on customer support and you have to go through this phone tree, like enter your order number or enter whatever information, and then you finally get on the phone with the agent and like, hi, what's your name and phone number, and all these other details.
Oh, and do this. Oh, and I hate how they get people that. This is going to sound wrong, but I hate how they get people that have such thick, heavy accents and poor microphones, so I can't really understand them.
Yeah. So, not Discover. With Discover, you do have to go through the phone tree, but the information passes on every single time. When you get on the phone, they only ask one question. It's just to confirm they know who they're speaking with, because the phone tree can only identify the account. It can't identify who it's actually speaking with.
Yeah.
But that's it. They don't ask for my phone number or the last four numbers of my social security number, which is required for being a credit card company. They have all the information needed so that way we can actually get into whatever it is we need to discuss. So, yeah, Discover is awesome. And so I explained the situation to one of the agents there, and instantly she's like, did they just fraud you? Did they just commit fraud against you? Because that's exactly what this sounds like. So, yeah, as of right now, I have, I've got one chargeback officially initiated, which is for the $100 no-show fee. I am waiting for the $650 charge to post. Yeah, when it comes to credit card transactions, you'll have pending, which is basically the time it takes for the money to transfer from your bank account to the merchant's bank account. It takes time for some reason. I have to wait for that transaction to officially post before I can officially file a chargeback on that. Though according to Discover, I'm highly likely to get that money back based on the scenario that just happened.
Yeah, because they almost have to give it back.
Yeah. If they try to just say that, oh, you agreed to with this, like, no, I didn't. I agreed to August. I never agreed for April. So, yeah, there's still a chance that when it comes to chargebacks, the merchant does have the opportunity to dispute it. to protect themselves against fraud, because not only can a merchant fraud you, like what happened in my case, but even a buyer can potentially fraud another merchant with the chargeback system. It's possible for that. So they have the opportunity to dispute it if they want. I don't know as of just yet whether they are going to dispute it or not, but I do know that for the no-show fee, that chargeback has initially been filed. I'm just waiting for the other charge to post before I can file that chargeback. And then, oh, and also in the time being, after I discovered, are you serious? They just charged another $650 on me? Instantly froze my account. So now my Discover card is currently frozen, which actually, you don't even have to call for that. Discover lets you freeze it just from the app.
Ah.
And they freeze everything. If you have multiple Discover credit cards with one account, oh yeah, all of those get frozen. Apple Pay, it freezes that too. All from one button in the Discover app.
Sounds handy.
Very handy. Yeah, I know this sounds like a big ad for Discover. It's just they're not sponsoring this, to be clear. Discover has no idea I am talking about them right now. It's just
they don't.
They've made a really happy customer right now. So, but yeah, so that's what's going on for the credit card and the money side of things. I want to finish off by talking about the communication side of things, because, well, Monday morning was not the last time I spoke with ESA. So, as you know, when I upload videos, I tweet it out stating that I upload a video. I tagged ESA in that tweet, and ESA responded. So, actually, where's my phone? I'll pull it up real quick.
I'll pull it up on my Mac so that way I can see.
Oh, did they just respond again? Oh, nope, that's just a delayed message read notification. Never mind.
Okay,
let me see. Yep.
I got your Twitter.
So yeah, here's the tweet of the video that I uploaded, as usual. And then right below that,
extends it. You talk.
Yeah, so it reads, "Hello, we're very sorry for any negative experience during your stay." Judging by that tweet, it turns out they didn't watch the video, because they would have known I didn't stay there and my experience was negative. Either way, please send us a private message to address the matter. Thank you. So clearly they didn't watch the video. They just saw the tweet and noticed, hey, it's a negative tweet. We got to respond to this.
That's what happened to me when I tweeted about Logan's Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, all right, I can't show you this because this has like actual legal information in regards to me. So I can't. I'd have to censor this when I eventually put it in the video. So, but basically, here's the conversation that we've had so far. Hello, my name is. Insert legal name here. I recently had a negative experience in regards to your booking system. The video I recently made, I pasted a link to the video, explains the whole story in full detail. But long story short, I made a reservation through your website, the website didn't process my dates correctly, and I was not given any window to dispute this mistake. I'm now being charged no-show fees and the full cost of a reservation I did not agree to. I've already tried calling customer support, and they failed to assist me. As of right now, I am waiting for those charges to process, and once they finish, unless somehow you can correct your mistake and give me a refund, I will be initiating chargebacks. really not trying to be an a-hole here, but I'm not going to let this expensive mistake slide.
I wouldn't either.
So that was the first message I sent out to them. 27 hours later.
Took them a while.
Yeah, that's a common theme with these guys. They take their time replying to you. Thank you for taking the time to provide feedback regarding your recent experience at one of our hotels. I didn't get to the frickin' hotel, so this means they clearly didn't watch the video still.
Yeah. They didn't even.
And I was talking about the website. I was talking about their effing website, not the hotel.
There's just, it's almost as if this is, I wonder if this is AI responding.
Yeah, here's a good thing that AI is pretty good at. AI is pretty good at speaking corporate.
Yeah.
And this is all corporate talk. It's like, no, get enough of the corporate BS. Talk face to face. Actually, do some stuff here. No, don't hide your don't try to hide anything behind corporate talk. Let's get to the issue here. So, here's the response. Thank you for taking the time to provide feedback at one of your hotels. At Extended Stay America, we pride in ensuring our customers' satisfaction.
No,
Do you?
no, they don't.
To ensure we resolve your concern, please provide the primary guest name on the reservation, the hotel address, and the best phone number and your email address.
Didn't you already provide that
So,
information?
I did provide them that information. Again, the hotel information should be irrelevant because this was not an issue with them. This is an issue with their website. So they still don't get the problem. Provide that information. And then it ends with, thank you for providing us this information. Please be advised that a member of our upper management team will be advised of your concern and will contact you directly to appropriately assist.
They haven't contacted you yet?
This was sent to me at 2:58 p.m. today.
Oh, so they could contact you anytime.
Yeah, notice they always take 24 hours to respond. So,
even Zaxby's was quicker to respond to one of my tweets, and that wasn't even a complaint.
Yeah.
That was just about. That was literally just. That was a little. So have you ever driven down when there was Zaxby's and they had the message and they had the slogan "Real Chicken"?
I've never been to a Zaxby's, and that's a southeastern chain, right?
That actually, yes, it is. Okay, yeah. I mean, they have locations in
that's-
Missouri and Indiana, but in Utah, but yeah, they're a southeast thing. But I mentioned, tweeted
Keep
about
in mind,
how,
I don't get out much.
yeah, that's. But I tweeted about how they said about how their slogan "Real Chicken" made it sound like everyone else had fake chicken. This is back when they were good, and then Zaxby's replied, "Makes you think." That was actually in 2023, I think.
So, I'm a bit nervous about upper management calling me because
They could call you at any
again
random time.
well, there's that. And it's like I'm a working individual. It's not like I have specific hours or it's not like I'm free all the time. So yeah, it's not like I'm gonna be able to take their call because I'm busy. I'm working, but not even that. I made my way up to upper management last time I called them.
And they didn't, and they basically did nothing. Well, the lower management tried to do everything they could, but
Yeah, the lower tier support people were awesome. I've been dissing on ESA so much. I don't want to diss on the lower tier people within customer support. They tried everything in their power to make right of the situation. The problem was upper management would not allow them to do so. And I can tell this is an upper management issue. And from the response I got last time I talked to someone in upper management, from headquarters, mind you, like ESA's headquarters, they were perfectly fine with what is going on right now.
that's not
They are
not
perfectly
cool.
fine. not giving me any window to dispute a mistake that they made and charging me up the wazoo for that. They are perfectly fine with this. So even if somehow I'm able to answer the call from upper management again, I highly doubt they're
do
going to
anything.
fix this issue based off, yeah. So I am still resorting to filing my chargebacks. I'm at least making them aware that I'm filing them, so that way if somehow they miraculously happen to agree, oh yeah, that's not right, then they'll at least, when they see the chargebacks, they should instantly accept them and not dispute them. But just, this is a whole mess. And basically after that, unfortunately the YouTube video didn't get much traction. It only got like 16 views last I checked. And
To be fair, I never even heard of VSA before.
Yeah, but I mean, I was hoping that the word, even if you never heard of him, I was hoping that you guys would also help get this information out there. But
well, I mean, this podcast is helping.
Yeah, it should. But even that, like, immediately after I uploaded the video, I had a church event that day, actually. And of course, I'm angry and frustrated that, I just got charged another $650. So, because I'm the organist at the church, there's also the church choir I have to interact with. So they all came in and asked me, how are you doing? How's your day going? I'm like, I'm great. I just got robbed $750 from a hotel.
That's...
So from the sounds of it, though, one of my church buddies actually frequently booked with extended stay. And after they learned of this incident, they're a customer no more.
I'm never going to book with ESA.
I keep forgetting. The problem is, again, their cancellation hours, you have to do it before 6 p.m. So I still have my August reservation, and again, I planned on keeping it if they refunded me the no-show fee, but after they charged me the full $650 for the week stay in April, supposedly,
you are not going to keep it.
No, in fact, actually, I told my other buddy who's coming with me on this trip, because he's paying for half of this, by the way. Eventually, we both came to the same conclusion. You know what? No, it's not worth it. We're just going to book somewhere else. I mean, it's the DC area. There are plenty of hotel options.
Yeah.
It's just... The big thing that attracted us to there was they had a little kitchenette. Yeah, that's the big thing that we're looking for, but we might just scrap that idea out of principle, because like the way they've treated us so far is just how is that acceptable?
It's not, and like I'm sure there's other types. I would be surprised if there aren't other hotels in the DC area of kitchenettes.
I mean, we'll look.
Yeah.
But the problem is they often get more expensive, and ESA had a reasonable rate. They had a really reasonable rate. It's just their website is hot trash, and their upper management is even worse.
I hate to be that kind of guy, but shall we move on to our final topic because we only have 6 minutes left of recording time?
Yeah, I pretty much butchered this to death, and I'm going to have to go on another hour just to record this whole thing, because again, I got a lot of updates to update people on, but
I'll watch that.
yeah, that's basically the whole situation. This is still ongoing. If you want to follow more for more details, because I don't want to keep giving everybody updates here on the podcast all the time, because I mean, I've gone on how long on just this one subject? So if you want
Not too
to follow
bad.
for more, yeah, but if you want to follow for more updates, I'm going to post them to the vlog channel. And if you don't follow me there, I'm also going to post links to it on my other channels, like the Drive channel and the Gadgets channel. But where I'm uploading my update videos, it will be on the vlog channel.
Uh,
So yeah, that, and if we ever have any more good news, I don't want to rob time on this show just for that. I mean, I'll
Alright.
provide small updates here or there, but just this is a really chaotic situation, and yeah, share this. I mean, you can share this segment of the show with them, and if you go hunt for my video, share it with everyone you know. Everyone needs to know that this is an issue. That ESA is okay of doing this type of behavior, and that means not only can it and it did happen to me, it could also happen to you, and I don't
Yeah.
want that.
I don't want that to happen to
So,
any of our viewers nor ourselves, but getting back onto our
yep.
final topic, there is a possibility that the iPhone 17 Pro's special color could be sky blue, which will probably be the color I would go with.
I don't think I'd go for it.
Huh?
I mean, I know blue's my favorite color, but I already have a sky blue 13 Pro Max,
Hmm.
and
Well, again,
I
that would
don't
be a
know.
nice
It's
break for
just
me because my past four phone my current phone my past three iPhones before then have been gold.
yeah. I mean, I'm still also having a hard time justifying the 17 Pro series because
I
also again
understand.
now with the especially with the tariff situation affecting the electronics industry the way it is.
It might get patched by the time the 17 series comes out.
I mean, I'm hoping that's the case, and Tim Cook is working with the Trump administration to try to resolve something for the electronics industry. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of iPhones being made in America
So do I.
because it brings more American jobs. It's just a lot of what's required to make these electronics. For one, a lot of these supply chains are strongly set up in China,
Yeah, it would.
and Tim Cook. Oh, there's another video that I'll have to share with you at some point. It's 3 hours long, so don't watch it like tonight. But Gamers Nexus did a whole big video discussing on how the tariff situation is affecting the electronics industry today,
Mm, yeah, it'll be.
and it is a nightmare.
Yeah, Yeah, one of my close relatives thinks that it's actually going to go away by August. Which I mean, because of the U.S. and China trade situation, I think that might be possible, but I can also see how it could go the other way.
I don't try to make predictions on will it happen, will it not happen. I will speculate on whether it will or not,
Yeah,
but
but
just
I'm
to
not.
have it definitive and to
It's
make
not.
I, it's too uncertain, and the way
Mm,
Trump has handled these tariffs is very, very unpredictable to the point where
mm,
yeah, I can understand the frustration in with a lot of these tariffs. I have a different perspective on the tariffs compared to most, and I can
so
understand why Trump's doing it, and I can
same.
understand why he's so on and off about them. It's just there's a downside to that, and I recognize that too, and it frustrates me as well. But yeah, I'm trying not to get political here.
Uh,
It's so freaking hard when it
It,
weaves its way into literally everything these days.
I know, but in other news, we are out
So,
of time.
well, yeah, I was just gonna follow up by saying, I probably might skip the 17 lineup this year.
At least you wait. At least you wait until September to wait until 16 Pro Max is cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. I am totally 100% doing that. But will I get the
That's the more
17 Pro
economical
series? Yeah. I mean, it'd be great for content. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's just... I feel that this space is... At least the segment of the space that I'm filling, I feel is fading and is kind of dying. Despite that, somehow I'm still gaining more subscribers on that channel, and I don't understand how.
It's because you have passion for the videos you make.
Okay, that is true. When I make a video, I'm not half, whating it. But it's just, at this stage of my life, it doesn't make sense for me to do it. And I'll probably just wait for the 16 Pro Max to get cheaper when the 17s come out. And
that's why I'm going to wait. To be fair, I'm making a completely different type of video tomorrow, so I understand. That will only briefly mention a tech example, but it's something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, I do know I am in need of a phone purchase because, for one, this thing is finally aging itself to the point where it's becoming problematic, and then the 13 Pro Max is having issues with its charge port.
It's also getting old too.
I mean, it's not that old, but
it is. I mean, it's going to be 4 this year, so I mean that's not exactly young for a phone.
True. So, but also, I would love to have Type-C as well.
Yeah.
I'm just done with Lightning at this point.
I'm getting sick of Lightning. I'm getting sick of Lightning too.
Yeah, I'm picturing myself for tech upgrades if I do any this year. For one, I'm in desperate need of new AirPods Max because, again, I got this headband issue that's completely.
Once you get
yeah, that.
I would
go on.
I would say what you need to prioritize is right now just figuring out how to move out. Do that first, and then I would say do that first, and then worry. And then I would say the next thing to upgrade is your phone, and then your AirPods Max.
Oh no! Come September, I am legit gonna need a new phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Come September, I'm just gonna get a new one anyways.
All right.
But in terms of other upgrades, the only thing I can really think that absolutely needs upgrading are just both of my AirPods. I am a heavy user of both my AirPods Pro and my AirPods Max. Like,
AirPods Pro might get a new generation this year, and I don't know if I'm trying to decide where I should upgrade to AirPods Pro 3 or else if I'm going to just get a USB-C case for these.
I know I'm in need of new AirPods Pro in general because the earbuds themselves this time, I've used them so much, I think I'm actually destroying the speakers on them. They do not sound... They're starting to sound cheaper, and for some bass sections, I'm getting... Well, it's not anywhere near as bad as the Raycons, but remember it sounds like it's coming from a different room thing I described? Yep. I'm starting to get that for bass notes. So...
Yeah, I would say it's time for new AirPods.
And then these, the headband is just completely worn out, and now Apple has finally added a wire... no, not only the Type-C, but a wired option for it.
Yep, that'll be awesome, but shall we go ahead and end the show now?
Yep, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I need to get something to drink, and then I got...
So do I.
Oh my gosh, I got too many videos I need to film tonight.
Alright, well, as always, so that way Alpha can get filming. As always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the iTunes Fanboy Podcast. As always, I'm Tay Magger from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we were saying peace out for now, and we hope to see you all in the next episode. See you later.